Hello guys, and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for being here, and ultimately thank you so much for raising your presence here on my channel. I truly appreciate you stopping by and choosing me to be entertainment for today. Alright, well I guess we can get into it. What they don't tell you about shadow work and its inner workings. First off, the healing process takes time. It's something. And even when you're doing your shadow work, whether you're doing it through dreams or you're doing it through journaling or you're doing it through just a part of your reflection, it's something that you're not going to finish in one sitting. Some people do, but the healing process is not going to be finished in an instant right away. And that's only because you're healing from things in your life that you have not dealt with for such a very long time. So it could be something that just happened. It can be something that happened years ago, or it can be something that you're preparing for to happen. So healing through that or healing from that is not going to be a quick turnaround. Sometimes, and I can attest to this just because for me, even doing my first sitting, because usually I do my shadow work through dreams, but I was like, let me try journaling just to see how much release I can get from it. Did I get enough release from it? I got some release from it. I didn't get as much as I could because I didn't finish, but I did get enough release to know where I was in that present moment, where I am in this present day. So I got enough to recognize my trauma, but I didn't get enough to where I felt like I was healed. But it's one of those things where like healing takes process, healing takes time, and healing does not happen overnight. So when you're doing your shadow work, if you're looking for a quick turnaround that's just going to give you a quick boost of energy and quick boost of healing properties, it doesn't happen that way, you know, because you're pulling from you're pulling from the inside out, you're pulling from the back of your mind, you're pulling from your subconsciousness, you're pulling from things again that you have not dealt with and that you have not properly healed from. So when you haven't properly healed from something, oh my gosh, your mind's going to be out of whack, your feelings are going to be adjusted, your emotions are going to be up and down, and your life may be in a disarray just for that quick moment. Or even, you know, after that moment, of course, throughout your journey through your healing process or your journey to recover or your journey to recovery, excuse me, it's going to be a whirlwind. It's going to be a roller coaster. Now this is not, I'm not speaking for everybody. Some people can heal like that. I haven't seen it yet, but sometimes you can feel like you're healing because the release is so strong. But for most people, that healing time takes a while. It takes a minute for you to understand what you were thinking. It takes a minute to understand what those thoughts were. It takes a minute to journey back to that time, that past time where you didn't properly talk about it. You didn't talk through those emotions. You didn't even relive that past life because you kept it buried under so many different secrets, under so many different scars for such a long period of time, and now trying to heal from it, you're almost scared to do it. I know I was, because it's just shadow work is something people tell you, oh my gosh, it's great, it does great wonders, but they don't tell you the aftermath of what you're going to feel like afterwards. And that's why I'm here, to kind of give you a short synopsis of what that feels like afterwards. Don't get me wrong, shadow work is great. It does do wonders. It is a great release. It's a greater release to me than any other feeling that I've ever felt, because through dream work you can wake up the next day and you feel rejuvenated because you're sleeping excuse me, you're sleeping through the inner workings of your shadows, the inner workings of your reflections. So you're kind of getting rest in a sense. Now some people, when they're doing their dream work, they don't get any rest. So it just depends on the person, but normal times you're getting rest while you're dreaming, especially if your dreams are like moving in a consistent or flowing motion. So Yeah, the healing process, just, it takes time altogether. It's not something, it's not a quick turnaround. It's not something that you're going to be happy the next day. Sometimes you may even get in a different state of mind that you were even prior to doing that, doing your shadow work. Like before you started, you could be in a happy-go-lucky mode, and then all of a sudden you're like, man, what just happened? I am crying all over the place. I am, my emotions are buffered, and I don't know how to fix this. And that brings me to my next point, is that sometimes shadow work can make it feel like there's dark matter that has came over you. Because when I know, for me, when I was journaling that day, and I was writing out my different thoughts and my different emotions that were going on through this past event, it just felt like a different energy came over me and just started speaking to me. Now, of course, I wasn't hearing voices or anything like that. It was just, my thoughts were moving in a direction where it was very strong and very powerful, and something that I was not ready for, because all of a sudden I'm writing and writing and writing and scripting and scripting. And it's like I can't control it. It's like I'm ready to release this emotion. I'm ready to get this off of my chest, because I've been holding it in for such a long time. So for me, it was like the dark, it was just like a forceful energy that I could not control, because it was like, you need this in your life. You need to get this type of release, because you have not yet dealt with this problem for such a very long time. And if you're like me, you got a lot of problems that you have not dealt with. So, waterworks. So you definitely heal through a lot of different things, but that dark matter or that dark force sometimes comes over you because it's just like the Grim Reaper. It's just like a monster. It's just like something that's under your bed, an issue that you can't scratch, a headache that just won't go away. It's something that you just gotta release it onto paper, onto dream work, or however you do your shadow work, and reflecting through these past dark times. So they don't tell you that. They don't tell you that you feel this dark force come over you, and sometimes it's mean. Sometimes you feel mean. So it's very good for you to do it by yourself, if not alone in the dark, or not necessarily in the dark, okay? Don't scare yourself. But maybe like with candles, maybe with soothing music, to kind of balance out the energies that you're feeling. Because if you're feeling a dark matter or a dark energy come over you, and then all of a sudden you have this dark room where you're in a gloomy space, oh my gosh, you can shut down in an instant, just because your environment is telling you to, your mind is telling you to, and now you're alone dealing with feelings that you have not dealt with for so long, and they're new to you, and they can be sometimes scary as well. So for me, I had to put on some soothing third eye music, just to open up that window a little bit for me, to kind of clear that passageway, to let whatever came in come in, but let it protect me as well, and let me be guarded in my emotions, so that I don't sporadically get out of control when I release. So, whew. Yeah, they don't tell you that, okay? It's very powerful when you're working with past demons, like it's demons in general. It's very powerful when you're, working with things that you're not used to. If you're dealing with something like, let's say, a tragic accident, a molestation, heartbreak, sexual energies that you just haven't, that are just out of control, a bad marriage, kidnapping, anything. I mean, just depression. Woo! The energy shift in here. But anything that you're going through, anything that you're healing from, anything that you're releasing, it literally comes through that window, and it opens your mind up to all of, it's like you're reliving that experience again. And a lot of times we're not ready to relive a molestation part of our life that happened 10 years ago or happened 5 years ago. A lot of times we're not ready to deal with a heartbreak that ended in trauma. Sometimes we're not ready to deal with those different things. So it's good to balance your energies balance the room out with soothing music, so that way as you're healing, maybe you get a sense of emotional tense where you cry it out. Crying it out is the best way to do it, because if you're keeping it all in, it's going to go straight to your head, and you're going to have thoughts like this when you finish, and you're going to be like, I released, I feel somewhat good, but now my days are going to be interrupted because this is all I'm thinking about. And that brings me to my last point, is your daily routine is going to be interrupted the more you do your shadow work, because not only are you changing, but you're growing, you're healing, and you're releasing all at the same time. Okay? And that is something that is very different to deal with, you know. So when you're, you know, you could be walking down the street, or you can be driving in your car, and all of a sudden you feel this matter come over you, or you feel this energy take over you, and you're like, man, now I feel that again. I gotta go back to my journal to do that shadow work. I gotta go back to my journal to release again. And it's a good thing. And don't get me wrong, like, shadow work is a good thing in itself, because it forces you to deal with those problems so that you can move on in a healthy way in life. Because let's say, you know, you haven't dealt with sexual tendencies or your trauma. You could, you know, be sporadically having sexual encounterings with other people and luring them into your seductive state, and all of a sudden you get hurt, or you're not necessarily hurting them. What am I trying to say? You're not getting hurt, but you're hurting them with your sexual pleasure, because it's so seductive, it's so pleasing to them. And so now you often hurt people that didn't cut you. Or if you deal with trauma, you know, you can also hurt yourself by, you know, getting into these relationships, into these unhealthy relationships, into these toxic relationships that don't benefit you and don't mean you any good. So that's why shadow work is good in itself, because it forces you to deal with things that you have not dealt with. It forces you to sit down and think about these things so that you do not move on in an unhealthy manner, or you do not hurt somebody else, because, you know, giving people room to hurt you is never good. But if you're hurting yourself internally, well, that's never good either. So you have to sit down and kind of do some self-help, some self-care, rejuvenation, some enlightenment within yourself to kind of get that release that you need. Even if you have to do shadow work every single day of the week, like, do it to where you feel comfortable enough to where you can satisfy your mind and your mentality and your emotions, and of course your experiences. So but it definitely, like I said, it definitely interrupts the things that you do, because it can just come in different forms. It can come sometimes in thoughts, it can come in actions, it can come in characteristics, personality traits. It can come in so many different forms that you don't recognize it. But one thing I can say is you're more so prone to believe what's happening to you, or believe what's happening in you, when you've done at least one shadow work sit down. So when you've done some type of shadow work, you're more able to believe the things that have happened. You're more able to you are more able to relate to it, and you're more able to put the pieces back together. So a lot of times when we've been broken down, we've been torn down, we leave those pieces there. We're like, somebody's gonna pick it up. Or I'll pick it up when I feel like it. 5 years, 2 years pass, and those pieces are still there, and now we're walking on broken glass instead of walking in our truth. Hello, I'm speaking. Are you listening? All right, so that's what I wanted to share with you guys about shadow work. That's some of the things that they don't tell you. There's plenty more things that I'm pretty sure they don't tell you. But when you experience shadow work for yourself, you'll kind of see what I'm talking about, whether it's through journaling, scripting, or dream work, or however you reflect upon yourself. You'll see what I'm talking about. But I just want to share with you guys, because I feel like a lot of times people bring upon these spiritual terminologies and these spiritual experiences to YouTube or to people out there in the world, but they don't thoroughly explain what's going on. And sometimes some people can end up with depression. Sometimes people can end up not knowing themselves or having a mental breakdown, and it's all because of things that they're seeing that's supposed to be helping them and initially will, but if you don't know how to properly deal with it, then it can have the opposite effect. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, go ahead and share and give this video a like. Share it with somebody that needs to hear this, that is working on their spirituality, that is, you know, heard of shadow work or doing some shadow inner workings. Share this video with them. I'm pretty sure it's going to help them, because I know just sitting down with you, it's helped me. If you like this video, please give this video a like. I would truly appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe before you leave, and I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I love you truly, and peace out.